wheel placement is key. You know, you want to make sure that you put your tires over the high spot so you don't drag the center, because you'd hate to rip out the oil pan or something. Hi, my name is Matt and this is Procrastination Garage. Welcome back to another video. It's Friday morning, and while I probably could find a ton of things to do down in the shop, I decided we ought to go to the cabin for the weekend instead. So let's go. Taking a trip to the cabin isn't just all about getting out of town for a couple days and shirking my duties around here. There's actually a car show down in Walla Walla that I was going to go to, and it's easier just to camp at the cabin instead of make the drive down and back. Plus we need to do a cabin check anyway, so let's do it. It also gives me a good excuse to hunt for some Hot Wheels and other die casts, because it's been pretty dry around here lately. We'll see what we can find in some other towns. Figure we better gas up before we hit the road. And how much is gas today? Oh, it's only $4.79 a gallon. Welcome to Washington. We're getting closer. We're just about to Walla Walla. And look way off in the distance, you can see the mountains. That's where we're headed. Just left Milton Freewater. Headed across the wheat fields and then up into the mountains. Made it to the tree line. Made it to dirt. Pick the right gear, Matt. Ah, fresh mountain air. We made it. It's Saturday morning. Jackery's down to 57%. It was about 88% last night when I went to bed. I did a bad thing yesterday afternoon when we got here. I hooked the Jackery up and didn't pay attention to it. And then last night around 10 o'clock, all of a sudden the lights went out. And I came out and it was sitting at 0. And I don't think that's good for the Jackery, for one thing. So anyway, I had to get the generator out and fire it up 10 o'clock at night. So I was up till about 11:30, waiting for it to charge back up so I could use it overnight. But it is what it is. Anyway, headed to town now. Main reason we made this trip was for the car show in Walla Walla. So let's head to Walla Walla and check out the car show. Then when we get back, we've got a project to do. I'll tell you what, the road leading into our cabin is a bit challenging at times and in places. If somebody doesn't know how to drive off-road, this probably isn't the place they want to come. That being said, you could drive just about any vehicle in here. You know, my little Suzuki SX4 doesn't have a whole lot of ground clearance, and it is all-wheel drive, but I can come in here and just front-wheel drive. So again, it's more of a person's ability to drive in this environment. Wheel placement is key. You know, you want to make sure that you put your tires over the high spot so you don't drag the center, because you'd hate to rip out the oil pan or something like that, leave you stranded. Cell phone and internet coverage has always been an issue at the cabin. I have US Cellular for a phone, and I used to have okay phone coverage, and I could text okay from inside the cabin. If I wanted to make a phone call, I usually had to go upstairs and stand next to a window, but it wasn't the end of the world. Recently, and I'm going to blame it on 5G, anymore, I don't have any cell phone coverage in the cabin at all. I can't send a text. In fact, I had to walk up towards the neighbor to get enough coverage to send a text yesterday. But I had decent internet using a hotspot from Straight Talk, which runs on Verizon. And in fact, the last time I was at the cabin, I was actually able to stream a movie, which was pretty impressive. I don't know that I've ever tried it before. So that kind of takes up the slack for the fact that I don't have phone coverage. Well, yesterday when I got up here, not only did I not have phone coverage, I didn't have a hotspot working either. So I actually ended up driving clear to town yesterday and logging into my Straight Talk account, which I needed my cell phone to do. And what I discovered was Straight Talk had unenrolled me from my monthly plan. Why they did that, I don't know. Let me tell you, Straight Talk customer service sucks, plain and simple. So anyway, I had to reestablish it. And what I've got is a 10 gigabyte plan that lasts for 60 days. So when I come up to the cabin, I've got basically 10 gigs of data to use, and since I don't get up here all that often, 10 gigs over 2 months is usually sufficient. In fact, I usually don't use anywhere near that much. So that's a good thing. And so I'm back up and running now. I was able to stream some stuff this morning. It doesn't seem the connection as good as last time. In fact, I do a daily TikTok for my Hot Wheels and diecast stuff, and I'm still struggling to get yesterday's TikTok uploaded. In fact, that'll probably happen when I come to town and get on a 5G network on my phone or something. I don't know. So just the trials and tribulations of mountain life when you're trying to keep up with the electronic tech age and everything. Sometimes it's a bit of a challenge, but I would love to have something like Starlink up here, but who can afford? It's like 125 bucks a month, and for a cabin that you don't use that often, that's a little steep. I'd like to find something that is in between the two, between what I've got for. The big thing is, if I use up my 10 gigs of data, I'm done. And the only way I can add more to it is I basically have to have a phone connection with data so I can log into my account and add more. There's no way of setting up to where it'll automatically do it for me. And that's straight talk. They kind of suck in that regard. So maybe there's a better plan out there. I should probably look again. Who knows? Anyway, let's get to town. Alright, headed back to the car. Spent about 4 hours in the sun. Had to recharge my battery once. It's a great show. They say there's about 400 cars here. I miss my daughter. She runs interference on me when I'm taking pictures. If any car show organizer is watching this, I have a suggestion. Have your people park about 6 feet apart. Makes it a lot better for taking pictures. When they get in there real tight, makes it pretty tough. Alright, away from the crowds. So the quality of the cars was amazing. Man, there was some nice stuff here. But you know what there was not a single one of? At least not when I walked up and down. Not one classic Bronco, 66 to 77. That's amazing. But boy, there was a lot of neat stuff. I gotta say, my feet are tired. Looking forward to a leisure drive home, but we've got one stop to make first. I'd say looky here, but it's actually an A&W/Kentucky Fried Chicken, and I'm here for the KFC. Got the food ready to go. Got a drink too, and I did make use of the A&W. I got a diet A&W root beer. I haven't had root beer in a long time, especially A&W. Approaching Milton Free Water. I just looked down at the temperature gauge in here, 86 degrees outside. Yeah, now I know why I'm feeling it. This light fixture has special meaning to me. My grandfather made this. He had it in their house back in the 1970s when they built a place in Chehalis, Washington. So when my grandmother was moved to a care facility, I made sure I got the light fixture out. The one problem with this light is that it does not have an on-off switch. In the past, it didn't really matter. If the generator was running, it was on. If If the generator was off, it was off. But now that I'm trying to better manage my electrical use, I want to have a switch for it. And I think I have the solution. I bought this off of Amazon, and basically it allows you to put a switch anywhere you want. I'll show you when I get it open. There are basically two parts. This little switch assembly right here, and you can mount it anywhere you want. And this here that goes into the light fixture. Once this is wired in, it's coded to this, and then when you turn it off or on, it sends a signal to this. Now I'm using a couple of these outside the cabin, and the ones on the outside, they don't have a battery or anything. When you hit the switch, it creates a little electrical current of its own and turns on the little module. This one I'm not so sure. It may have a battery in here. We'll get it installed and figured out. All right, quickly look at the instructions. We've got this figured out. We've got a red and a blue line. The red is the black hot and the blue is the neutral wire. And then coming out is our standard colors of black and white. So these hook up to the power, and then these go on to the lamp fixture. So let's get that done. After reading the instructions, I found out the switch is pre-programmed to the little adapter thing up in there. So in theory, when I push the button, lights will come on. Not that end. Hey, there we go. So apparently that's up, that's on. Okay, okay. On, off, on. You gotta hold it just a second when you turn it off, because then you can hear something going click up in there. Anyway, it works. Now what we need to do is maybe mount this to the wall somewhere. It comes with an adapter to do just that. I'm not sure where I want to put it. Probably over here somewhere, but I may hold off a little bit before I do that. So one more thing. When I was first starting to wire this in, I was trying to do it leaving the power on. Unfortunately, I couldn't mount the little adapter box in the area right up there under the copper. I had to go up above the plate above it. So because of that, I had to shut the power all the way off. I mean, that's a safer thing to do, but it would have been okay. Now you saw that I put that in upside down first, right? In my defense, doesn't that look like an arrow that should be pointing up? Well, obviously it's not. All right, this project is finished. It's Sunday morning around 11:30 a.m. and cabin fun is over. Reaching civilization, milk-free water, and headed home. Hey, since you're still here and watching, do me a favor. Hit the like button and hit the subscribe button. Thanks. It's Monday morning about 9:30 a.m. and we're gassing up the green truck. Dog and I are headed up the hills today. Today's trip isn't all about fun and games. Actually, I'm going up to check wood supply in one of the warming huts. Last year we dropped a bunch of wood off there and another club came along and split a bunch of it and put it inside. But it all didn't get split and put inside because there wasn't room. So I want to check and see the wood is still outside, and then maybe we'll go up there and split it later this week. So that's kind of what we're doing. I mean, any day in the mountains is a good day and relaxing, but like I said, this is more of a, we'll call it a work trip, work being in quotation marks. Getting closer to our turnoff, at least we're back up in the trees in the mountains a little bit. If you're ever in the area, you want to stop at Gold Creek Station, home of the world famous fish and chips. Yeah, I'm not sure why you'd find great fishing chips in the mountains in the Pacific Northwest, but they are pretty good. We've reached our turnoff, Old River Road. This is where you'd go to Boulder Cave if you're going to Boulder Cave, but we're going much further than that. Kind of ugly up here where the fire was. The last couple miles of road are pretty rough, especially for a leaf sprung F-250. So we're just going slow and easy, right dog? So we have a conundrum here. That's a shortcut bypass, but it gets steep and kind of rutted. I think we should probably look at it anyway. Probably go for low range here though. Maybe not that low. The question is at the top where it meets the road, it may be too much of a breakover for this truck. I don't know, we'll see. Oh yeah, I think we're all right. piece of cake. Our destination really is right up on top of that point right there. That's where the warming hut is. Except to get there, you gotta follow the road up and back. So it'll be a little bit. Yeah, rougher than a cob. Right after the really rough stuff, then it got nice and smooth. They had some heavy equipment up here working. I'm not sure why they're working up here, because this road doesn't really go anywhere or do anything. It's mainly just for recreation. Well, we've made it to the top pretty much. We're on the final section of switchback. And if you go up there and look right over the edge there, you'll see the wilderness area and a big steep drop off. Made it. There's our destination right there. A little bald warming hut. I never get tired of this view. This is looking over the William O. Douglas Wilderness area here. And there, way off in the distance, that's Mount Rainier. What's that, whiny dog? The mountain needs some fresh snow on it. It's looking pretty sad. It's okay, dog. It's not treat time. You got a couple hours yet. There's the wood I'm talking about. Now, I have two choices. Now that we know it's here, we can bring my log splitter up here and split it, but that means towing the log splitter in for quite a while. Or I could toss all this in the back of the pickup and just take it home, split it, and bring it back. And I'm kind of thinking that might be the easier of the two. So I don't know, let me think about it a little bit while I eat lunch and look over the edge. Okay, so there's the majority of the wood right there. I couldn't get it all in the back of my pickup. That stuff there doesn't need to be split, it just needs to be put in. This is the woodshed right here part. And then those pieces need to be split. But you know what? When I bring this wood back, I'll just bring my maul and I'll go ahead and split that other stuff. Won't take very long at all. Except for that piece right there. That's going to be tougher. Maybe I'll take that one with me. Back to the shortcut. Since it was easy enough coming up it, I guess we can go down it as well. Right? Right. I'm actually doing this in second gear low range and not low, which would really creep. I am putting my foot on the brake just a teeny bit, but overall it's going pretty good. When this thing's in low and first gear, boy, it just creeps, and I don't need to go quite that slow. You guys are lucky you're getting the image stabilization between my arm and what's built into the phone, because it's a lot rougher, let me tell you. But we made it. Back on the smoother road. That other was beating me to death. I didn't see anybody up at the warming hut, but I passed a few vehicles and I've seen a few campsites. I imagine the campsites are people setting up for hunting season. Or maybe hunting season has already started for some stuff, I don't know. Made it back to the highway. Now about 45 minutes to home. It's early Tuesday afternoon, and here's where we left off from yesterday. We've got a truckload of wood that needs to be split. And while I'm splitting wood, I might as well split some of this too, at least until I get tired of doing it. So this will be our work area. In a perfect world, what I would like to do is pull it out of the truck, split it, and put it back in the truck. Unfortunately, I'm not going to get back up the warming hut this week, it doesn't look like, and tomorrow we're going to go for a UTV ride, and I don't want to leave it in the back of my truck because I'd hate for somebody to steal it after I've done all the prep work on it. So I guess we'll just stack it out somewhere. We'll keep it separated so we don't get it mixed up. I want to make sure I don't shortchange the warming shelter when I take the wood back. It's okay if I add a few extra pieces, but I don't want too few, you know what I mean? So let's start by getting this trailer moved out of the way. right away I noticed that I was starting to foam with my hydraulic fluid, and the reason is because I wasn't level. So I went ahead and put some blocks under there to bring that side up. There, empty bed, right? What do you think? All that wood is out and split. Pretty good pile. So I've decided I'm just going to leave it sitting right where it is, and then probably this weekend I'll load it back up, and then next week I'll take it back up there. So I've had this splitter about a year, and overall I'm real happy with it. The only problem I've had is the float in the carburetor, but I don't blame that on the splitter. That's the Briggs & Stratton problem there. But anyway, when I was running today, I was hearing a loud vibration noise, like something was loose. And I got to looking, and what it is, I don't know if you guys can see it, the engine mount down there, it's the inside one, it's loose. I don't know if there's a nut missing off of it or what. The one is run up from the bottom with a lock nut on top. That one is run down. So the question is there a nut, or am I going to find a nut for it? I'll check the other side too when I fix it. It's got a nut. It's just loose. I'll tighten that up. Now, I don't know if that was assembled that way at the factory, or if I bought this from Coastal, and I don't know if they assemble them. So either way, I'll fix it. The engine mount bolt is all tightened up, so we're good to go. So let's split some of this over here too. I don't think I'm going to get through all of it, but maybe a little bit of it. I'm not sure you can tell, but I did add quite a bit more. Got some of that, but I've still got a ton more to go. I worked about an extra hour. It's a little after 3 o'clock now. Time to put the splitter away and go give the dog her treats. The UTV is all loaded up and ready for tomorrow's adventure. Can't wait. That's a wrap on another week of Procrastination Garage. Hope you guys enjoyed the video. Remember, the #1 goal of Procrastination Garage is to keep me motivated, to get me working down in the shop, out in the yard, at the cabin, up in the mountains, whatever, just so I'm not sitting around watching YouTube and TikTok videos all the time. Hey, down in the comments, why don't you tell me about the projects you're working on, or tell me about the things you're procrastinating about. I hope you hit the like button. I hope you subscribe, and please tell all your friends. We'll see you next week.